Good morning, Britain. Pa, we're all so proud of you, and Granny would be too. Prince William's message to his dad.
I know she's up there, fondly keeping an eye on us, and she'll be a very proud mother.
A son's tribute to the King was the centrepiece of a nationwide party to close the Coronation weekend, with star terms from Tom Cruise, Take That, even Kermit the Frog, and a national anthem 20,000 strong.
But there has been controversy over the arrest of campaigners on Saturday under new laws to police the possibility of disruption.
Also this morning, the doctor's receptionist will see you now. The government's new plan to get patients triaged on the phone. But the GPs just say, get more doctors.
It could be the end of the 8 a.m. scramble to get an appointment as the government tries to recover from local election losses and make good on their promise to cut waiting times.
After the Coronation weekend, it's now Liverpool's turn to take centre stage as all 37 Eurovision acts arrive at the same venue for the first time for the start of a week-long pop party.
Hi, great to see you on this bank holiday Monday. We've got some heavy showers and a weather warning. Having said that, there are some bright spells too. All that and more on Good Morning Britain.
Monday, 8th of May, 2023. Live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Kate Garraway and Ed Balls.
Good morning, just gone 6 o'clock. Welcome to the programme. How was your coronation? Did you have a street party? Did you watch it? Did you do nothing about it? Are you going to be out volunteering today? Because there's a big call for that. Love to hear from you, whatever you've been doing and whatever you're up to today. Ed, lovely to see you, by the way, Ed.
Good to be here.
You were busier than I thought. You seemed to be everywhere over the weekend.
I know. I mean, you know, I was actually just at home watching the Coronation, having a street party, but, you know, that was...
You have more
one
lookalikes.
part of my role.
I know, exactly. So, Adrian Daffin is the person in this picture. Let's have a look. But lots of people thought this was Ed.
Right. I know.
I mean, I get it.
Holding the Archbishop's book.
Holding the Archbishop's book at a very crucial
That
part
photo
of
is
the
to
ceremony.
confirm it was not me. Because that is me watching him in a postmodernist moment.
Adrian Daffin, by the way, has been an Anglican priest for more than 30 years, earned his stripes there. You would have been a bit of an interloper if you'd
I know,
snuck in,
that was
you?
not me, just to be clear.
Just to be clear, that was not you. Someone else that wasn't you is in this picture. Let's have a look. This is the one that is, in fact, Sabrin Turfel, just so Stuart knows. I mean, you know,
Okay,
I mean, you sang beautifully, Ed. You
Yvette,
sang wonderfully.
Yvette said to me, what is going on Twitter? There was all these people saying, why is Ed Balls singing in Welsh at the Coronation? I can't sing in Welsh.
Can you sing?
Well, not at the Coronation.
Okay,
I mean,
and
can
you
I just be
weren't
absolutely
there
clear, that is not me.
That is not you.
For all those who wonder.
And this is the final one, which you may have been proud of being. This is the NHS Scrubs performing at concert. That wasn't you either.
It's not me.
That was Stuart.
That's
we don't
not me.
know Stuart's surname. Stuart, if you're watching, come forward and claim your moment, because people think it's Ed Balls
I would love
at the NHS Choir.
One of the highlights of my life was playing the banjo live with Harry Hill on the Queen's 92nd birthday party at the Royal Albert Hall. So I have been known to make the odd cameo appearance, but that was not me.
None of those were you. If you thought you saw Ed Balls over the weekend doing something, we'd love to see your picture. Maybe you've got one of those faces,
Can I just say,
Ed.
it's not all about me. It was the coronation of our monarch. There we are.
There you are with your banjo.
And Frank Skinner.
There you are with the banjo. No, it wasn't all about you, of course.
It really was. It was about the coronation of our monarch.
I know. Well, there were so many people. Glenna, in sound this morning, her nephew venue was in a very crucial position in front of the King's coach. So she was all about spotting him. Everyone was trying to spot certain people that they may or may not have known.
And you were at the Palace on Saturday?
I was very lucky, wasn't I? I was broadcasting for Good Morning Britain and then hung around with the ITV gang who were there all day. Because ITV, if you watched ITV on Saturday, you did get the best view of the Palace. All the security guards said, this is just amazing. We were in the perfect position to see everything. See the balcony, see where the King and Queen came out, see when they returned. It was just extraordinary. And the cameras were the one capturing it, and I was just hiding behind them, of course.
And did you street party yesterday?
Street partied yesterday.
We must have a photo of your street party. Surely there's a street
party because ours wasn't quite as organised as the one at number 10 with lovely trestle tables. Ours was a rabble in the street, and that was me with Percy Peugeot, who had the things on, and our garden with some banners on, and everybody decorated, and everybody went out. We had food and fun and face painting. It was a lovely thing.
I know. I've got to say, I thought the concert last night was really, really cool.
That was the party,
We'll talk about it later. Prince William's speech was...
It was really moving, wasn't it? Really moving. And
Very
again,
important.
it's all the adjustments we're going through. We've seen King Charles, haven't we, speak so often for his mum, most recently at the Jubilee, when he just said, you know, congratulations, Mummy, and it was all very moving. And then again at the funeral as well. So to see the new Prince of Wales doing that for the new King was lovely.
It's like, you know, we kind of... The funeral was the ending of an era which has been most of our lives. And then Saturday's coronation was, I mean, you know, Prince Charles, before he became king, was there for so long.
Yeah.
And he's been part of that era. But last night it felt like Prince William threw us forward into the future as well with his dad. I thought it was a very, very important moment.
Absolutely lovely. There you go. There's Camilla being crowned. Well, of course, as Ed says, Prince William did pay tribute to his dad, saying Queen Elizabeth will be a very proud mother following a weekend of celebrations to mark King Charles's coronation. Prince of Wales delivered his speech during the coronation concert at Windsor Castle, which looked like a heck of a party.
It did.
The royals danced, along with a crowd of 20,000 people.
I was
Were you singing?
in the choir.
Were you? Well, we've seen that. Yeah. Lionel Richie was also singing, and Katy Perry, and pop. Take that.
But today, the royal family and senior politicians are going to meet volunteers as part of today's big Help Out volunteering event, which is going to wrap up the coronation celebrations. And here's Michelle Morrison with all the details.
Good evening, Your Majesties.
The most touching of tributes. First of all, referring to his late grandmother.
I know she's up there, fondly keeping an eye on us, and she'll be a very proud mother.
And then from a son to his father, the King.
Pa, we are all so proud of you.
King Charles had arrived to a fanfare before a spectacular show. With standout acts including Lionel Richie bringing everyone in the royal box to their feet, Katy Perry, Take That, and a few surprise appearances.
Kermit, it's him! A lord! A real lord!
The crowd of 20,000 watched on as a colourful light show was projected onto the castle walls and into the night sky. Earlier, street parties were held up and down the country, some with VIP guests, including one hosted by the Prime Minister. But the morning after is all about volunteering. The big Help Out initiative is encouraging the public to look out for opportunities in their area. This countryside charity has asked people to help count hedgerows for a national survey.
Volunteering isn't just about the job that you do whilst you're doing it. It's about all the people that you meet and the new skills that you learn. To have someone like King Charles, encourage people as part of the big Help Out to get involved has been fantastic.
Despite a very public coronation ceremony, details are now emerging about what went on in private. Reports suggest King Charles toasted his grandson Archie at a family lunch. He was in LA with the Duchess of Sussex celebrating his 4th birthday. And lip-reading experts say they know what a frustrated King Charles said on his way to the ceremony, apparently in response to the Prince and Princess of Wales being late. "We can never be on time. There's always something," he says, before complaining, "This is boring." a world away from the king who partied into a night to never forget. Shal Morrison, Good Morning Britain.
Well, that is our top story. We're going to continue reflecting on the coronation celebrations with the Mirror's Kevin McQuire, Republican, and the Times political correspondent.
He's not.
Well,
is he really?
Let's see what he has to say this morning.
Maybe
he's got a softness for the
Maybe
world.
he's been turned.
Charlotte Ivers in just a moment as well. And we'd love to know what you did as well. Keep those coming in, because it's kind of everybody's coronation, isn't it? Everybody's celebrated or marked the moment in a different way. Jonathan's got the rest of today's news. You were a busy boy as well, weren't you?
Yes, kind of. I was 50 on Thursday, so I've been drinking ever since. I'm just finally sobered up now.
It all in.
Yeah. So give this a go, shall we?
Did you see it or did you miss it?
Yeah, I saw a bit. Slept through some of it. It was a long night Friday into Saturday morning. I'll explain later.
OK, OK.
Best we move on.
OK, all right.
I should do the news. And I'm actually going to start with the news about the Health Secretary, who says he wants to put an end to the 8 a.m. scramble to get a GP appointment, with plans to train more receptionists to assess patients' needs and speed up the booking process. Well, Nithya Rajan is at Summerfield's Urgent Treatment Centre in Birmingham. Nithya, centres like that are often used by patients who can't get an appointment. How on earth is the government going to speed up this whole process?
Well, exactly, Jonathan. Centres like this one are used by patients because they're open 365 days a week. You can walk days a year, and you can walk in essentially without an appointment to see your GP. But the new multi-million-pound plan from the government is aiming to increase access to GPs. And under it, if you call up your GP, you won't get that familiar engaged tone, but instead you'll be given a queue number, and the receptionist will take your details of your ailment, and then decide whether to refer you to a doctor or whether to refer you to the local pharmacist. And the new plans will include expanding the role of receptionists. They will be called care navigators, and the plan is to train up one care navigator per GP around a GP practice around the country. They go back and they pass on that training to the other receptionists in the service. But Labour say these plans are out of touch with the reality that patients face, and the Royal College of GPs have added to that and said that while increase in access to GPs is always a good thing, it doesn't essentially deal with the problem of recruitment and retention within the sector.
While it will help one aspect of access to primary care, it really doesn't address the underlying problem, the elephant in the room, if you like, which is that we desperately need more GPs.
Well, Professor Camilla Hawthorne, who you heard there, she has also said that patients have developed cancers and increasing pain with a 7.2 million waiting list. That's currently where it stands. And of course, this all comes off the back of the losses that the Tories took during the local elections. And the PM will want to make sure that he shows his commitment to deliver to cutting those waiting times.
Nithya, thanks very much indeed. Let's have a look at the other headlines making the news this morning, shall we? At least 21 people have died after a tourist boat capsized in India's southern state of Kerala. Police say the boat was overcrowded when it overturned on Sunday night, and they fear more people could still be missing. A heavily armed gunman who killed 8 people in a shopping mall in Dallas on Saturday has been named. Mauricio Garcia was shot dead by a police officer who happened to be nearby. President Biden has renewed calls for a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines following the shooting. The era of ultra-cheap flights is over, according to the boss of TUI, who says it will no longer be possible to find last-minute bargains. The company's chief executive, Sebastian Ebel, says demand significantly outstrips supply, and there'll be no return to the days when airlines discounted plane tickets just to fill seats. Tennis now, and Andy Murray has won his first title in nearly 4 years after beating Tommy Paul in the final of the ATP Challenger event in Aix-en-Provence. Murray came back from a set down against the American top seeds to win by 2-1. The win means Murray will now rise to 42nd in the world, his highest ranking since 2018. The Met Police have this morning confirmed that 64 people were arrested during the King's coronation for offences including breach of the peace and conspiracy to cause a public nuisance. The force has faced criticism from campaign groups for the detention of protesters on Saturday. Well, our political correspondent, Louisa James, is at Buckingham Palace for us this morning. Louisa, the government have actually defended the Met over these arrests, haven't they?
Yeah, and in the face of mounting criticism from some of those who were arrested, who've described the police's action as intimidating, heavy-handed and a direct attack on democracy. Now, the latest update we have from the Metropolitan Police is that of those 64 people who were arrested, 4 have so far been charged, the majority of the rest released on police bail. And we know that among those arrested were members of the anti-monarchy group Republic, Just Stop Oil activists and also animal rights activists. But also there are reports that 3 volunteers from Westminster Council were arrested while handing out rape alarms. Now, the police say that they had intelligence that protesters were planning to use rape alarms to disrupt the coronation proceedings. The investigation there is still ongoing, but they do understand the public's concern about those arrests. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has also said he is seeking some urgent clarity. But the Culture Secretary, Lucy Fraser, says she believes the police made the right calls on a tough day.
I think we live in a democracy, and I think it's right that people can protest, have their voice heard. But there needs to be a balance, because there were millions of people as well who wanted to enjoy the coronation and the day. The police are operationally independent, and I think they tried to get that balance right, and I think they did.
Now, one of the reasons this is proving so controversial is that new public order laws were passed just days before the coronation to give police extra powers to stop protests before they become disruptive. Labour have called those laws draconian. The Liberal Democrats say they're a breach of civil liberties. The police, though, say in this case it was all about context, that the coronation is a once-in-a-lifetime event. They say that people were warned in advance that tolerance was going to be low and that other protests did take place on the day without any arrests.
Louisa from Buckingham Palace, where it's a lot quieter this morning. Thanks so much indeed. A controversial barge for housing asylum seekers is due to arrive in the UK in the next 24 hours. The barge, called Bibby Stockholm, is stopping in Falmouth for inspection before being taken on to Dorset, where it'll become home to 500 single men seeking asylum in Britain. Well, Nick Dixon is in Falmouth for us this morning. Nick, when can we expect the barge to arrive then?
Hi, Jonathan. We don't have an exact position, an exact timing as such for the barge coming in, but we do know from the marine tracking information that we have been able to access that it is very close to Falmouth, just outside the port limits and on course to arrive tomorrow morning. Now, it has been suggested it's going to come into port around about 6 o'clock tomorrow, but that's not been confirmed just yet. It's quite a sizable port here at Falmouth, and the idea is that the barge will come in and get repairs, renovations, whatever is required before moving further up the coast to Portland in Dorset, when of course the government has decided to house hundreds of asylum seekers there. Now, critics believe that that is inhumane, and particularly for people who in some cases have had really quite traumatic experiences.
People who fled bullets and bombs in Sudan or Syria, or persecution and beatings in Iran or Afghanistan by the Taliban, deserve to be treated with humanity and compassion. Sticking them on a barge is not a way to treat them.
Now, the government says this barge will provide basic functional accommodation. It has been used in other countries, we know that, to accommodate people in Germany and Netherlands as well. The government feels that they just cannot keep on spending millions of pounds, they say, a day on hotel accommodation for asylum seekers. But I think it's fair to say there will be resistance when it does come in here at Falmouth and moves further up the coast, and there has been possible legal action suggested as well, Jonathan.
Nick, thanks very much from rather calm and overcast-looking Falmouth in Coleman there this morning. Now, with this year's Eurovision Song Contest in Liverpool just days away, of course, the BBC has revealed how much preparation will go into creating the performers' on-stage looks. Apparently, there'll be 100 wigs and hair pieces, 482 costumes, 1,000 litres of hairspray, more than 3,000 makeup brushes and 5,000 hairpins used. That's nothing compared to this place.
Sounds like a week of Good Morning. Sounds like a week of Good Morning Britain.
We're chatting to Rebecca Ferguson a bit later on the programme as well, who's performing the Ukrainian singer at the opening. So she'll have lots to talk about, won't she?
She will. We can ask her about hairpieces.
We can ask her about hairpieces and hairpins.